Hello and welcome to PlayStation Grenade. Tekken 7 is the end of the Mishima blood feud, so I thought now is the right time to recap and retell the story from Tekken 1 to Tekken 7. I won't be looking at many other characters outside the Mishimas, so if you're looking for a story of Paul Phoenix or martial law, then this isn't the video for you. But if you want to know about the origins of the Devil Gene all the way running through the series, then this is it. Let's do this. I'm going to do it in chronological order, so Tekken 7 will bookend all the other games. This is going to be a confusing affair, so grab the popcorn, open your mind, and let's figure this out. The story picks up with Heihachi Mishima in his family dojo training in their fighting style. His father, Jinpachi, is a world-renowned fighter and the head of the Mishima Zaibatsu. When translated into English, that means a huge Japanese business group. One day, a young girl shows up at Jinpachi's dojo and begins training alongside Heihachi. Her name is Kazumi Hachijo. I am so sorry if I'm pronouncing this wrong, by the way. As time passed, they became friends, and as they grew older, their love blossomed, and their son Kazuya was born. A few years later, Kazumi collapsed during training, and Heihachi tended to her. Things did not look good for her. Miraculously, Kazumi survived and went about her business as if nothing happened, but Heihachi knew something had changed. Sometime later, Kazumi's real intentions were exposed. Kazumi reveals she came to the Mishima dojo to watch and finally kill Heihachi for the tyrant he was destined to become. The two fought and Kazumi unveiled her devil gene complete with flaming butterfly wings and devil horns. Heihachi prevails and murders the love of his life. Shedding a tear after he breaks his wife's neck. What a lovely moment. Heihachi took his 5-year-old son to the top of a cliff and told him of his mother's fate. Kazuya's rage was no match for Heihachi, who had already planned to kill his son just in case he had the devil gene like his mother. The plan was simple: throw Kazuya off a cliff. If Kazuya died, then he didn't have the devil gene. But if he survived and somehow climbed back up the cliff, then he must be part devil. Heihachi's character changed dramatically after the Kazumi fight and is now fixated on power and strength. He even imprisons his own father, Jinpachi, and takes command of the Mishima Zaibatsu. Jinpachi's corpse remains under the family dojo 40 years later. After many years of building wealth and power, Heihachi longs for the old days of fighting in martial arts competitions and decides to start a tournament to be known as the King of Iron Fist, or just Iron Fist, or Tekken for short. He puts up a huge purse for the winner and enters the tournament himself, as do many fighters around the world, including Nina Williams dressed as a street hooker. Oh, and guess who else enters in secret? It's only bloody Kazuya, who did indeed survive his fall from the cliff and is now a little bit pissed and is ready for revenge. Guess who makes it to the final? Yes, it's father versus son, Heihachi versus Kazuya. The two beat 10 bags of shit out of each other, but Kazuya emerges victorious and decides to throw his dad from the same cliff he was flung off as a boy. With Heihachi presumed dead, Kazuya inherits the Mishima Zaibatsu and runs it for a few years until he gets a bit bored and announces Tekken 2. But this time, instead of a financial award for the winner, they would indeed take control of the Mishima Zaibatsu itself. The tournament was entered by a record amount of people, including Jun Kazama, who will be key to this storyline very soon. As if you weren't expecting it, up pops Heihachi, who survived his fall from the cliff and is now after revenge over Kazuya and of course desires his beloved company back. During the tournament, Kazuya and Jun find time to get down and dirty together, resulting in Jun falling pregnant. But we'll get to that in Tekken 3. In a repeat of the Tekken 1 final, both Heihachi and Kazuya make it, with the roles reversed. Heihachi wins this fight, which causes Kazuya's dormant devil gene to activate, just as his mother's did years ago. Heihachi knew this would happen and is fully prepared, defeating the devil version of his son, winning the tournament and regaining the Mishima Zaibatsu. To make sure Kazuya and his devil gene are gone for good this time, he decides not to throw him off a cliff again, but this time tosses his flesh and blood into an active volcano. Definitely a candidate for Dad of the Year. Remember Jun Kazama? Yeah, the one who did the dirty deed with Kazuya? Well, she had a son Jin, but decided to keep him in the Kazama clan in the hopes of keeping him out of the Mishima blood feud. Jin is trained in the Kazama fighting style which his mother mastered. Jun suddenly feels a disturbance, kind of like a Jedi, and feels the presence of Ogre, a god of fighting, who was recently released from its tomb. And who do you think let Ogre out? None other than Heihachi Mishima and his Tekken forces, who are looking for sources of power around the globe. Ogre kills Jun, although that is not 100% confirmed, but her son survives. Still in his teens, Jin travels to find his grandfather in the hopes of training to fight Ogre and avenge his mother. Heihachi agrees, and 4 years later, Jin has mastered the Mishima karate. Heihachi announces the third Tekken tournament, in which he hopes to capture Ogre and somehow absorb his power. You know, with gene splicing or something like that. Basically, his thirst for power is now unquenchable, and Ogre's ultimate power is next on his list. Tekken 3 had its share of weird and wonderful characters too, including a 2-foot dinosaur called Gon, but let's pretend that didn't happen. Moving on, Jin beats the living shit out of everyone until his mother's killer appears. Ogre offers up a good fight, but a revenge-filled Jin comes out victorious. Even Ogre's second form, True Ogre, couldn't defeat Jin, who has now avenged his beloved mother. Out of nowhere, Heihachi and his Tekken forces gun down Jin and kill him. Why did Heihachi do this? Potentially in fear of his empire being taken by his grandson, or maybe his knowledge of the devil gene caused this reaction, but that ends up being a bad idea. Jin's devil gene activates, and after some mild vengeance, he flies away. Heihachi continues to search for Jin until he accidentally finds the corpse of his son Kazuya instead. His remains are being held at G Corporation, a biogenetic company looking to resurrect Kazuya. As the Tekken forces arrive at G Corp, it is revealed Kazuya is not only alive, but is stronger than ever. Poor buggers didn't stand a chance. Heihachi decides another Tekken tournament, the fourth in fact, will attract Kazuya, who is now fully focused on revenge, again, and maybe this could also see Jin return too, who we know can't turn down a good old scrap. As expected, anyone who is anyone has joined the tournament, with favourite Jun Kazama here to murder any Mishima he can get his hands on. That anger fueling his devil gene sees him reach the finals where he should face father Kazuya, but he is attacked by Tekken forces who subdue and drug him. Heihachi attempts to mentally and physically brutalise Jin in the hopes of acquiring his power. Jin first defeats his father.
You win.
And just as he's about to kill his grandfather, he has a vision. His mother Jun is still keeping tabs on Jin and convinces him not to give in to the dark side. Hang on, is this Star Wars again? Jin once again flies away, sparing both his father and grandfather. Suddenly, a fleet of jacks are sent to destroy the Mishimas. Fighting side by side, Kazuya and Heihachi fight off the onslaught until Kazuya leaves his father to fight alone. The jack units explode, killing Heihachi and burying his body in his own dojo. Heihachi Mishima is dead. An unknown individual takes over the Mishima Zaibatsu and establishes another Iron Fist tournament, Tekken 5. Kazuya decides to accept the invitation, as this is a way to find out who's in charge of the Zaibatsu and G-Corp 2, who he believes sent those jack units to try and kill him and his father. As the tournament begins, Jinpachi Mishima is revealed as the organizer. If you remember right at the start of the story, Jinpachi was imprisoned by his son Heihachi and left to die for 40 years under the Mishima dojo, which we just saw blow up. As the tournament begins, Jinpachi reveals he is fighting internally with a devil spirit who is controlling him. With his last breath of humanity, Jinpachi started this tournament in the hopes that someone could defeat him and stop his impending reign of destruction. We've come a long way from throwing 5-year-olds off cliffs, haven't we? Jin easily reaches the final and faces his great-grandfather. At this point, Jin is so powerful, even a devil-possessed fighting legend has no chance, and Jinpachi is finally laid to rest. Jin takes his place as the head of the Mishima Zaibatsu. He's now completely controlled by power, just like his father, grandfather, and great-grandfather. Jin does the unthinkable and declares independence from the world. Don't ask me how that works, but he starts World War III. Remember when he was just a nice young man? Well, I blame puberty. The only organisation big enough to fight the Mishima Zaibatsu is G-Corp, who have also grown exponentially. Lars Alexanderson joins the fight. A field leader in the Zaibatsu decides he cannot stand by and changes his allegiance in order to stop the war. He's in love with an android, by the way. True story. We follow him slowly uncovering information with help from a Wesley Snipes wannabe, Raven. As the world spirals into a war-torn depression, Jin announces the 6th Tekken tournament, which attracts another butt-ton of fighters, as well as Kazuya and the attentions of Heihachi. Wait, didn't he get blown to pieces? Oh well, video game logic. During this storyline, Lars is revealed to be Heihachi's illegitimate son. We also previously discovered that Lee is Heihachi's adopted son, and Asuka Kazama is somehow related to Jin. This family tree is ridiculous. Anyway, back to the story. Jin has been using the Zaibatsu's resources to research the devil gene and finds that an ancient being named Azazel is the original host. If he can find a way to wake him, he could wipe the devil gene from existence, thus freeing himself.
How do you know that? Answer me.
How does he do this? He starts that world war we've been talking about. He's really a nice guy, and although he's prepared to kill millions of innocent people, his heart's in the right place, right? Azazel is defeated by Lars and Fake Blade, and reveals he is the being that wipes out humanity if they become too evil, pretty much forcing humanity to start again if they lose compassion for one another. Of course, the next thing Azazel does is self-destruct. Luckily, everyone we care about escapes unharmed. Jin arrives and proclaims Azazel is not yet dead, and only someone with the devil gene can defeat that big chicken. Azazel, right on cue, breaks from the debris. A bolt of light explodes from the pit and Jin is seemingly dead alongside Azazel. Nina tries to make Jin sound like a good guy, but we all know he's a bit of a f***er.
Jin put everything he had into this one moment. It's not for me to judge if he was right or wrong.
A short time later, Raven finds Jin, who still bears the devil symbol, indicating he still has the devil gene and his efforts were futile. He is contained and taken into custody. With Jin out of the picture, Heihachi returns to full strength and forcefully takes back the Zaibatsu. At the same time, Kazuya seizes full control of G-Corp, and the war rages on. Back over to Jin in the Middle East. After he wakes, he doesn't take too kindly to being restrained and explodes in anger, killing everyone in the helicopter. He runs from the United Nations only to be saved by Uncle Lars, who still fancies that sex robot, but we don't talk about that, okay? Heihachi has just finished rebuilding the Mishima dojo and enjoys some R&R when the Street Fighter franchise decide to enter the frame. Akuma, an old friend of Heihachi's wife Kazumi, has come for revenge, but doesn't give any more details. Just as the fight is hotting up, Kazuya sends a battalion of jacks to crash the party. They don't last long, but he gets to see Akuma and Heihachi battle. Akuma wins, and Heihachi is reported dead. Again. I don't know about you, but I'm not buying it this time. Akuma then vows to kill Kazuya, who finds that quite amusing. The Tekken forces launch an attack on Violet Systems, where Jin is recovering, but are unsuccessful thanks to Lee, Lars, and that sex robot we don't talk about. They even go as far as collapsing their research facility on Nina Williams. She's okay though, she's a badass.
This could be interesting to watch.
Kazuya sees that Akuma has reached G-Corp and calls off all his guards so they can fight man to man, or devil to demon, or whatever the heck they are. Kazuya is forced to become Devil Kazuya due to Akuma's superior abilities, allowing Heihachi to show the world who he really is. Death by media, I think they call that. To make matters worse, Heihachi uses a satellite laser to blow up G-Corp and kill Kazuya and Akuma. They survived, because of course they bloody well did, this is Tekken. In retaliation, Kazuya uses his devil beam to bring down the satellite, crashing back down to Earth, killing many innocent people. The public see that that is a Mishima logo, and everyone blames Heihachi again. Things are about to heat up as Heihachi travels to a volcano to fight Kazuya one last time. The fight is brilliant. An epic battle of the ages which swings back and forth. Kazuya, powered by his hatred, defeats his father. The only way to end this saga is to throw your father into molten lava. Is this the end of the epic power struggle and blood feud? Akuma tries to ruin the touching family moment, but Kazuya is onto his shit. Another epic battle rages, but we are unsure who wins, and the credits roll. After those credits, we finally see Jin back to full health. He vows to kill Kazuya and undo his terrible acts. So after all that, this isn't the end of the story. Give it 7 more years and we'll have Tekken 8. We did it! The entire Mishima story from Tekken. I don't know about you, but I need a laydown. I'm Adam from PlayStation Grenade. Please give us a like, I really think I've earned it this time. It's been emotional, I'll see you next time.
戦いとは最後にどちらが立っているかそれだけだ。